entrance for the new pass through Calidesi is marked by 2 red balls at the beginning of it. Powerboats can go part way through, but can't go all the way through because of the motorboat exclusion zone. So this is just a video of going through there. A sailboat can go all the way through if you don't use a motor. So you're almost at the entrance of Calidesi Hurricane Pass between Calidesi and Honeymoon Island. This is on a Sunday, so it's pretty much a lot of boat traffic. All the power boats want to cut out in front of you instead of going behind you. No matter how close to the edge of the channel you are, they will go ahead and stay all the way. They'll cut right out in front of you every time. You can just count on it. It's a sure bet. So I think I can see the first ball. It's going to be like a little red marker. And there's going to be 2 of them to mark the entrance. Once you get into this little pass, it's probably about maybe 30 feet wide. So even if you had to tack in a small boat, you ought to be able to tack all the way through it. Right now I got the advantage of the wind coming out of the northwest, so it's going to be a pretty clean shot. I shouldn't have to tack. Oh, here we go. That's the one on the right there, and then there's the left ball. And then there's a marker that's right up front. You can just see it up underneath the jib sail. That's marking the motorboat exclusion zone to the right. Water here is probably 5.5 feet deep, and this is at low tide. So about 25 years ago, there were 2 distinct islands out here in this sound, and so apparently they're just coming back. They dredged like a couple of years ago, and so the sands have shifted around quite a bit. But I think, you know, nature's going to take its course, and it's going to pull all that loose sand that they dredged out and redeposit it here in the sound. So if you stay to the right side of the channel, it seems to be the deepest side. Here's a picture of the sandbar. And there's another cut further in. But at low tide, once you go through that other cut, there's not enough water for you to go all the way through. This cut over here actually has enough water to go all the way through. So we're going almost downwind now. Got to open up the sail a little bit. It's a real light wind today. Probably 5 knots, 6 knots. It's one of the good things about these wind riders. You can sail them where you wouldn't take another boat. Can't get in but so much trouble with it. If you get grounded, you just get off and push it off the sand. So the water's pretty clear here, and I can't even see the bottom. So it's good 5.5, 6 foot right in this part of the channel. This is the right side of the channel. So it gets shallow pretty quick. So it's a steep bank. Just like you have a windward and a leeward side of an island, the leeward side's always going to be shallower. The windward side's going to be steeper and deeper. So the channel is getting a little bit narrower right here. I still think you got about 20-25 feet wide of navigable waterway that you can use. And I'm aiming at one of the buildings in Clearwater. There's a tall one, so that's a good reference point when the tide's up a little bit higher, but not so much where you can distinctly see the channel at low tide. It's nice to get out here on the weekdays. There's hardly any boats out, and it's really quiet. It's amazing how sound travels on the water, because somebody could be like a half a mile away talking, just regular voice, and you can hear them. You know, but on the weekends, just pure chaos out here. There's power boats everywhere, jet skiers. Worst thing about jet skiers, they don't stay going in one direction very long, and they get bored and they do stupid stuff. Anyway, I'm almost through the channel here. Off to the left, the water starts getting a little bit deeper. But I think right now, even though it's really low tide, I probably got maybe 3 feet, 3.5 feet at the edge of the channel on the left. This Dunedin Causeway is, I think, the only causeway that you can actually bring a trailerable sailboat and launch from the beach. Over there by the first bridge that gets over onto the causeway on the Joseph Sound side, on the Clearwater Sound side, is where all the jet skiers launch. And it's like a little town right in there in the morning time. If you don't get there early, you're not going to be able to launch, because they just take up space, and they'll put their tents right on the beach close to the shore, keeping other people from launching their sea-doos, their jet skis, and instead of putting their tents up closer to the causeway or whatever. And you see them reserving parking spots for their buddies that don't get there early enough. But yeah, it's like, if you want any good comedy, go over to the boat ramp. You'll always find something that somebody's doing stupid. So anyway, this is about it. I'm almost through. I think yesterday I went all the way over to where these poles that are right in front of me now are in the exclusion zone. There's one over there to my left, so I'm within the exclusion zone now. Over here on this side where the other channel is, there's one channel marker, and it marks the end of that channel. And then once you pass that mark, you're in the exclusion zone. You can't have a motor on the boat. You can use a trolling motor, an electric trolling motor, and be out here, but you can't use your gas-powered motor because it's all grass beds right here. You can just about see the ripple on the water from the edge of the channel. Right here, I'm in about maybe 4 foot, 3 or 4 foot. I can see it over to the side where it gets shallow real quick. So I'm gonna have to stay going straight downwind, which I don't like sailing straight downwind, wing on wing. It's not the fastest way for a multi-hull to sail. Always sail off the wind. Don't sail straight downwind. You know, unless you got to, you're in a tight quarter. Oh yeah, see, the channel just got narrow right here. So I'm going back over to the right where it looks like there's a little bit more water. I'm starting to see the bottom. So I'm thinking 4 foot right here. And I think I sailed through this yesterday about the same time, same period. And I came out where this one marker's like bent over on the side. So I'm using that as a marker for later on if I'm out here and the tide's semi up. That way I can still get through the channel. So yeah, I'll come in where the bent pole's at for the motorboat exclusion zone and aim for the other pole on the left side of the second causeway bridge, which is right over here. Oh, yep, I can see the bottom over here. I'm gonna have to go back left. Oh yeah, it came up pretty quick. Well, I see somebody's fishing float. Something must have got it and cut loose. Okay, yeah, I'm back in deeper water again. So the channel's narrowed out to about 10 or 15 feet wide right here. And I'm back in 4 feet of water. So maybe as the sand islands get built up, the sandbars will get bigger and bigger, and then the channel will get more pronounced. It'll be easier to go ahead and sail through there. But it keeps you out of the intercoastal where all the power boats go in and out the pass. So you're just cutting across the channel now instead of having to go down the channel before you can get into deeper water at low tide. Which, with the way the boats fly down here, they don't even slow down. All the kayakers that come from the rental, kayakers and paddle boards, they just got to be wary of all the so we're starting to come out of the motorboat exclusion zone, and we're still in 4 feet of water, and then tide's ripping in now. So you can see that there's another 2.5 feet, 3 feet of tide that's got to come up. But for low tide, not having to go through the intercoastal, I'll take this pass every time. And that's about it for this video. This is like one of the top spots that I like to go sailing at, because the wind blows hard and then the water stays flat, perfect for multi-hull. And then when it's calmer and nicer, you can go out into the Gulf. So you got a choice of whether you want to go out in the Gulf or stay in protected waters. And then there's all these spoil islands that are out here that people usually camp out on the weekends. And it's something to do. It's a lot of fun. So anyway, love this area. See you later. Bye.